Hi everyone, welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV for your daily lunchtime stream. It's Nina here today, guys, for you, and hope everyone is well. I've come up with a bit of a cold, guys, so forgive me if I sound a little bit off. But I hope everyone else is well and have recovered from the weekend result against Ipswich. It's turmoil again. We're in a place of the unknown, a place of despair. Champions League football seems to be just another dream again. And I think it hurts so much more just watching teams like Aston Villa yesterday. The fight they showed, guys, the fight they showed against PSG was so admirable. You could see them going for it till the very end. And the very fact that we could be out of it another year is beyond me. It is beyond me. I mean, yeah, it's hard to kind of fathom what's going on at Chelsea right now. You know, we were always going through it, but at this moment in time, things actually do seem very concerning. And there's a lot of questions. We are quite split in terms of who is to blame. And I think this is what I wanted to center today's stream about. Talk to you guys, hear your thoughts about what is it and who is it that is mostly responsible for the downfall that we've experienced since the takeover. And I know it's not as simple as it just being one or the other. There's a series of things, but it's quite interesting to see people defending Enzo Maresca and is absolving him of blame on the way that the season has unfolded. Other people are looking straight further up, like myself, and I always have looked further above the manager, because the people that brought in the manager, the people that made the decisions, the people that recruited the players, and ultimately those are the decisions that I think have built up to leave us in the position that we are currently in now. So, excuse me. So I think it's a series of things, but I think I wanted to talk to you guys today and find out how much blame does Enzo Maresca actually deserve for the season and the results, because I think that both can be true. I think that it can be true that Maresca's out of his depth and isn't good enough for Chelsea, and I also think it can be true that we just can't trust that the decision that is made for the next manager that succeeds Enzo Maresca is going to be any better, because we seem to see a pattern now of the managers that are getting recruited. They are certainly in the same bracket, and I think that you can't really trust that the next one's going to be any better. So it seems a lot of people are holding on to the thought of Maresca staying, not because he's a great manager and there is so much he can improve and upgrade Chelsea, more of the fact that whoever comes next isn't going to be any better, really, when we know that the shortlist that we've been shown in terms of the managers that they have looked at and have been intrigued by are not any better, really. CV wise, experience wise, status wise. So that's a concern. So it seems like we're in a no-win situation when it comes to managers long term. And again, that comes from further higher above. But anyways, welcome to everyone who's just joined, guys. I hope everyone is doing well this Wednesday afternoon. Make sure you smash the like button, guys, and give us a subscribe so that you can get involved in the chat. Keen to hear from everyone today. So do get involved in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. We're talking about the bigger and the wider issues at Chelsea, which, of course, a lot of people... It was interesting to see how divided the fan base was actually after the Ipswich game, with how much blame Maresca deserved to take and how much the players deserve to take. So what is it? Is it the players aren't good enough? Is it Enzo Maresca's not doing well enough with this group of players? Should he be doing better with this group of players? Or did the directors fail us in the first place with the appointments that were being made? Let's say hello to some of you guys in the chat. Daniel, hello, hope you are well, mate. Sporting directors are to blame. How are they in jobs? How their jobs are not under pressure. Chelsea have failed for the last 4 windows, bringing in average players just to get a top. Sorry, I'm doing so well already with the first comment. It's been 4 minutes, Nina. Well done. You can't speak. Yeah, mate, I hear you on that. And that's why I always say, like, it's all good and looking at the surface level, but the deeper rooted issues and the people pulling the strings and making the decisions for us long term are what are setting us up to fail in the first place. Big up to you, Elliot. I hope you are doing well, mate. Thanks for joining us. Nick, hello to you too as well. Yes, guys, smash the like button. Like Liam said, thanks very much for the support. DJ Sav, hope you are well, mate. Hope fans are not going to lay in on Cole Palmer. I am hoping our own fan channel calls this out on why Palmer's form has dipped. It's important to say he's playing with an injury. He's having pain injections in his ankle before each game now, so his play is a huge part in his performance. Yeah, we'll talk about Cole Palmer, mate. I do want to bring the attention to players individually as well. It's no secret to anyone that a lot of players have dropped off from their best selves at the start of the season, and we will discuss what that is down to. But you're right, mate. He has been over-relied on. I mean, Pochettino, he was the one to sponge out every single bit of Cole Palmer that he could have. And we have relied on him. You know, we were literally called Cole Palmer FC. So that is an issue. But he's obviously going through something on a personal level. In terms of like self-esteem, I think is quite low with him at the moment. He almost seems to be in two minds of himself. But I've seen this element to Cole Palmer that I haven't seen before, and it's this kind of overthinking. And Cole Palmer never was a player that would overthink things. You know, a lot of things come naturally to him. That's one of his kind of best abilities, and he's very good at making decisions in a split second. But that's also changed. But interesting, you feel that Maresca's lost the dressing room. We'll talk about that. But I don't actually think, oh, well, there you go. Rory saying that he's lost the dressing room. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Players seem to be enjoying his tenure at Chelsea. But again, these are all young players who have barely been managed at a top level anyway. So, you know, but yeah, good doing good, Liam. Thank you very, very much. Big up to you, Jordan. I don't see how we've improved from last season. Afternoon, Rubik's Rob. Hope you are well, mate. Cal says, what's happened to Mudryk? It's crazy that we aren't getting any info. Yeah, honestly, mate, with everything that's happening at Chelsea right now, I've just completely forgotten about Mudryk. It's gone over my head. But yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what to tell you on that. It's a lot of yeah, it's a lot, guys, isn't it? But let's get through here. Charlie says deluded fans that hate on everything that happens at the club are to blame. Also, Charlie is blaming the fans. So the fans are at fault for everything, are they? When we were second, everyone loved it. But that's the problem, though, isn't it, Charlie? We're talking about a big fall off. Like, we were 2 points off Liverpool a few months ago, and we're 22 points behind Liverpool at this moment in time, maybe even more now. But you know, that's the problem. That's the problem, that there's been a big fall off. We've not won games that are very straightforward to win. Some of the performances have been abysmal, but have been enough to grind us out results against bottom side teams that are getting relegated. So I'm not too sure, mate, what your standpoint here is. Everyone's got an opinion, of course, but I don't know. If you're a match day going fan, let me know if you are. I don't think that you'd be saying it exactly that way, but everyone's got an opinion, so fair play, mate. 70% the board, 30% Maresca. I reckon Maresca, sporting directors and owners should be to blame, had the worst transfer window. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, this is where the balance comes from a little bit, because yeah, Maresca could have been given better resources in terms of had players with experience come in, players that are a little bit more confident to pick up and, you know, show the younger players how to integrate themselves. And his job certainly would have been easier. Like, I agree, we've been crying out for a striker. We've just wanted a target man and an out-and-out number 9 for the longest time possible. And it gets you know, relayed over to the next window, and then it still isn't addressed. So, of course, Maresca probably wishes he had different players. However, I still think that a part of me thinks that he should be doing a little bit better with this squad right now. Because on paper, we've got great players still. I still stand behind the fact that experience not coming in is a big downfall, and it's partly why, so many of our younger players, when they hit a wall, well, they all struggle to get out of it. Like you look at the 2-2 against Ipswich, like in the past, if that was with some of our other players and leaders we had, like imagine a Thiago Silva in the back line against drawing to Ipswich at home. That guy would have been literally picking the players off the ground and telling them to sort their stuff out and just fight for it. But we don't have that anymore, because they're all sort of looking around, they're all mates, they're not going to tell each other, oh, come on, like, let's get back into this. And so many games you look back and you just think, one experienced player, like, is it so much to ask for? But they'll tell you Tosin is experienced and he's absolutely fine. Big up to you, Stephen. The blame is definitely on the owners, who continue to fumble and running this football club again. Some of our fan base are part of the problem also. Yeah, we're not absolved of blame, of course. Maresca called out the environment at the Ipswich game, and I must tell you that you do get frustrated with the football that you watch. You get frustrated when you see that Sanchez passes out a ball into an Ipswich player or player of the opposition every single other time that he distributes. And that is frustrating to watch. It's just, like you're there, you're in the ground, you react to everything that happens. That's the whole part of being, like, in any live experience, you react to what you see. And that just, it comes from watching something frustrating. I don't agree with booing players. I personally have never booed players and I won't do it, but I certainly will express frustration and be annoyed. Like, trust me, when we consider that second goal, yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. There's no profession where this level of incompetence and mediocrity can be condoned. The sporting director has to go first, because I don't trust them to make good decisions. You're right, Promise, and that's exactly why sacking Maresca or bringing in another manager won't actually really fill us with confidence that the next one that they choose is going to be better. When we were linked with the Luis Enriquez and Nagelsmans, etc., we looked past them because our shortlist was Enzo Maresca, Kieran McKenna, Thomas Frank, etc. So we know that we know that that's the route they're going down. We know that that's what they want to do, and bringing in an inexperienced manager to work with inexperienced players, yeah, that's clearly the route we're going down for here. So I don't actually think that whatever decisions made next will be any better. And that's the thing, because you make one mistake once with appointing Graham Potter for 5 years, then you make another mistake. Well, okay, appointing Pochettino, that we saw that how that ended, but appointing Enzo Maresca, let's be real, no fan was really like shouting from the roof when we brought in Enzo Maresca. It was more like okay, well, we've signed him now. Everyone was just waiting to see something new, I guess, a little bit of refreshment, but we weren't necessarily above the moon, filled with confidence that Enzo Maresca, with the CV he has had, is going to come in and change things. Leicester fans actually told us we'd get to this point in the season where he struggles to change something in his system. Exactly, Liam, exactly. Our team is a mess. One moment we are at the top, we are up, and then we are just nonsense. It's the inconsistency as well. Hello, Amir. Good to see you on here, mate. Thank you very much for your comment, and glad you're enjoying the content. Thank you very much for all your support. Maresca needs to play Cole Palmer and Reece James in their proper positions. Palmer is struggling to play centre attacking midfield. At Man City, he played right wing, or put him left wing and Reece James. I hear you, Jordan. I just don't trust any of our other players in the 10 right now. I think that however poor, let's say, Cole Palmer's been to his standards, I think I trust him with the ball at his feet a lot more than any other player. And imagine how much more we'd get overturned, and seeing how unbalanced we are when we get hit on a counter, I just don't trust that we have a player there that I can trust more than Palmer in the 10. But I agree, we obviously saw him on the right last year. That's where he got all his goals as well. So it's not that Cole Palmer doesn't play good on the right, it's just I don't trust anyone else in the 10 is basically it. But anyways, let's just go through, again, waffling around, so behind on your comments, but I do appreciate everyone's input, so I'm going to still go through these, but sorry, I am a little bit behind. He's not Premier League material and not good enough. He's killing the club, even the sporting directors and the owners. Well, that's the thing. Like, I agree that, yeah, okay, he won the championship. He won the championship with Leicester, but Leicester fans told us that even at some point in the season, they got fed up with what they were seeing. And, you know, it's all good winning the championship, but when you come to the Premier League, you have to, the bare minimum, upgrade your system and implement new ideas into it so that it suits the Prem and you can compete with the other teams, because it's a different league. You know, it's the best league, and you can't just assume that whatever worked in the championship will work in the Prem. And I think that's where he kind of tripped up the most. And we can see that now because teams have found us out. You know, you don't necessarily get punished in the championship maybe as much with the games that we've seen in the Prem, in terms of the way we've set up against teams that maybe sit back at us, etc., because not everyone's got the quality to punish you in the championship. But in the Premier League, we've seen that that's not true. We have conceded goals in sloppy ways. We have been predictable. Our wingers get shut out from the game. We play side to side because, yeah, for the life of us, can't do anything else. We spam the area with aerial crosses that go to nobody, and then we rinse and repeat. I'm just not too sure. We have negative moaning fans, blame the manager, always the manager who would want to manage the club. Look, fans are going to moan. Like, fans are going to moan, but I think, Christian, we have a right to question what's going on and where are we going. I think my biggest thing with Maresca is I don't know how much more he can. Okay, maybe, yeah, with better profiles in the team, maybe after the transfer window, you know, we've brought in a striker. I don't really think we'll go in for a goalkeeper, but say we had a better goalkeeper, say that, you know, we brought in an experienced centre back, you know, say Santos came in summer, you know, Esteban, whatever. But the problem is, would you trust that Enzo Maresca can actually play these players to their strength in the system, or is he going to take away from the qualities that make them the good players that they are? And that's the thing. It's about looking forward, and it's about what the manager can actually do to improve. And again, most fans are just sat here saying, well, it's not that we want to keep Maresca because of his footballing abilities and we can actually see that he can take us to the next level, make us competitive next year. It's more of the fact that bringing in another manager that's exactly like him and starting from scratch with the players isn't an improvement. So that's the thing. So we're kind of in a bit of a limbo position here. Even the body language from our players doesn't convince me that we will be the old Chelsea again. No fighting, no aggression, no regret when chances are missed, just the team playing and hoping. Yeah, hopes and vibes. That's what we've been like. I mean, since January, it's been hopes and vibes to just hopefully grind out some consistent results so that we can get ourselves in a good and comfortable position to be in reach of top 5 without having to worry about it coming down to the very last few games. And even now, when it seems done and dusted, and a lot of fans might say you're crazy for even thinking that there could be a chance, but I always say, you know, I'm a hopeless optimist, to be honest with you, but, you know, it's like, it is just hope now, isn't it? It is just hope. Maresca is not showing his level, and that's not Chelsea level. The action should be Maresca and the sporting directors, definitely. But I think the sporting directors should go before another manager is appointed at Chelsea, to be honest, because I just don't trust them with that decision. The owners won't go, mate. I do hear ya, but I think, you know, that will be the last thing that happens. Maresca blaming the fans, how dare he do that? Hate Maresca making excuses. Yeah, mate, those comments were a bit wild after. Like, I get it. I know he always calls for the environment, and he, you know, like Levi Colwill spoke out about how, you know, edged on they felt in the Tottenham game, and, you know, how good it felt to hear the good atmosphere and stuff. And I get that. And we definitely do try. Like, we don't go to games and just be quiet and criticize from the get-go. No, like, we do make an atmosphere. Like, we do edge the players on. For some reason, we've started playing blue as the colour, football is the game, before the game kicks off, which is usually our victory song at full time. I'm not too sure why that is, but, you know, maybe it's just to create this extra, I don't know, motivation for the players. It's a bit strange because we haven't actually been doing great when it has happened. But, you know, obviously environment helps. But again, you are a fan in the stadium reacting to a live experience and a game. So when you see something that frustrates you, of course, there's, signs of groans. When you see Sanchez pass out a ball to an opposition player every single game, you're going to express your frustration in the ground. But I agree. Like, boos don't necessarily mean the players pick themselves up. Maybe in the past, players could withstand that and actually, pull their socks up and react to that. Think, yeah, it's not good enough. Let's do better in the second half. And maybe there's an element of that helps. Yeah, there are other ways to motivate your players, but at the end of the day, the motivation should be coming from the manager as well. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, we're there to support, we're there to encourage. But ultimately, the motivation should be coming from the manager. And at the moment, it just seems that he's not awfully great at doing that. So yeah, okay, cool for us to motivate the players, but you do it as well, mate. Like, it's a bit bizarre. Let me try and catch up, get a little bit lower, because I feel like you guys are probably reacting to what I'm saying, but I'm not even seeing what you're saying. But to everyone who's just joined, guys, I think there's just about 60 of us in here. I'll ask you to hit the like button before I get through your other comments. Yeah, please hit that like button. Helps share the stream out, helps grow the channel, and yeah, it's always much appreciated. So we're on 20 now. If we can get to 50 today, that would be really, really good by the end of this stream. So yeah, takes a couple seconds, guys. Just hit that like button, and much appreciated. Let's have a look and see. Prem Talk, hello, mate. Why do people blame Palmer's poor form on Maresca? Palmer is not good. He has been crap in 2025 wherever he plays. The year he has had 2 at most good games. I think Palmer's now on a run of, I believe, 12 or 14 games with no goals, or 13 and 15, because I think 13 and 15 for Jackson and Palmer. I don't know which way round it is, but obviously Jackson's been out and injured. Palmer's just not been at his very best. But I do think that there is an element that is down to to Enzo Maresca. And I'll tell you what, I'll stretch back actually to the games where he started his inverting Gusto experiment from the right-hand side, where I just think, stretch back to the Man United game at Old Trafford, Gusto was kind of occupying the spaces that Cole Palmer usually would. And Cole Palmer is 100 times better than doing that than Gusto in terms of, keeping the ball at his feet, feeding our wingers. He looked so lost in that role, Gusto. And because of where he was, Palmer was so shut out to the left-hand side, where he was just completely nullified by United in that game. And then there were so many more after that where, again, what Maresca was doing with some of our other players was actually affecting Cole Palmer as well. So I think there is an element of Maresca being at fault for Cole Palmer's downfall as well, but it is also just a personal thing. And I always say that if anyone's allowed a bad patch, it's Palmer. I think it just has stretched out a little bit longer than we all imagined and all thought. But I saw it even against Ipswich. Like, he had some good crosses. Again, though, so sad that they just go to no one, because again, Neto as well, like spamming crosses left, right, and centre, going to no one. And actually, the second goal that Ipswich scored is a goal that we can never really score. Like a cross coming in like that from Palmer or Neto, being headed in. Ironically, by our shortest players in the team, Kukurea and Enzo have scored goals like that. But, that just says it all. Like, we miss a actual target man for those crosses to be met. But yeah, I agree. Like, Palmer has displayed this level of overthinking that we've never seen before. At times he overcomplicates it, takes maybe an extra touch, but I've also never seen him get dispossessed as much as he has in this kind of bad run of form as well. But like, the truth is that other players have we've needed other players to step up around him. Like, we envisioned that our wingers would be goal scoring wingers. At least that's what we were told. Signing Sancho, signing Neto, obviously having Noni Madueke there, who is quite good at doing that. I think he was, one of our better players on the pitch against Ipswich with the chances that he was creating, but also in terms of knowing when to just have a crack and go for a shot. And it just confuses me, because Maresca says that he tells the players to shoot from outside the box, but I just think the way he has them playing, it's so ingrained in them to keep possession, that, they're very very scared of taking a shot and risking getting overturned and hit on the counter. So I see fear. You know, the Sancho goal against Ipswich, which is a shame we couldn't enjoy more and it couldn't have been a different story. That's a prime example. You know, like, what happens when you shoot? You just might score. And we need to see more of that. And the fact that players haven't been doing that, I think, is coming down to Maresca's, the way Maresca has been playing. Because why do we want to walk the ball into the back of the net all the time? You know, you can't do that. It just seems like most of our goals have never really come from this kind of tippy-tappy way that he wants us playing. Pass, 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 pass back, pass back, pass back, maybe try and walk it in. Like, take shots from outside the box. It is so simple yet so difficult. And again, it's much harder obviously when you have teams sit back at you, but even still, like, we've not even seen as, like, nearly as much of that kind of shooting from outside the box that we should have. And that's fear. Again, that's like apprehension in our game that's just not helping us. And the fact that we've scored as few goals as we have is concerning. I mean, I kind of want to get up the amount of goals we've scored, because obviously they were coming for fun before the season hit, you know, its turn like mid-December, but we've really struggled for goals. Our forwards have massively struggled for goals. So it is concerning. It is really, really concerning, guys, because it's been impossible. Obviously, defensively, we've not conceded nearly as many goals last year, but that number was actually alarming from last year. And keeping clean sheets, obviously, we've managed a few, but it's been so impossible. Like, scoring one a game, we've had a couple 1-0s, 2-1s. Obviously, I kind of want to disregard the 4-0 against Southampton, because even that, like, scoring one against Villa, like none against Brighton, one against Brighton, like two, like, we don't score more than 2-3, like we used to, more than one even. And again, like, what I put down to Maresca, another thing about his particular, like, way he has us playing, is sometimes I think that Maresca's more concerned about conceding another goal than actually going and scoring another. Like, that's not Chelsea characteristic, is it? Like, we're not blowing teams away. We're almost hanging in there by a thread, even if we do win. Like, even Tottenham, like, but that's a very narrow win. Go for more. Like, obviously we missed chances in that game. Tottenham missed chances in that game, but there's so many where it's like, it looks like we'd rather not concede than score another goal, and would just happily take that away. And again, that is no way that Chelsea plays, mate. No way Chelsea plays. I just want to go to this one before I read Dennington Bears one. But yes, Elliot, I said this. Jackson is always so wide in the moment when there are crosses. And you see it, like, against Ipswich as well. Like, Neto and Palmer are spamming in crosses, and often Jackson is by their side. Like, what are you doing there, mate? Like, you need to be coming in. And the amount of times that I heard someone, like, around me say, like, Jackson, middle, like, centre, like, he drifts so wide. That's why we've had many conversations about him being more like a winger than an out-and-out striker, or at least having to play, maybe playing behind someone or playing with someone. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, Jackson's movement it's not great. Well, it's great in terms of, you know, he causes havoc for defense. He's good at his hold-up play is good. But when it comes to just being that centerpiece there, he doesn't have aerial threat, and he's not often in the right positions where we need him to be. So it kind of seems like we've got no threat in the area at all. So yeah, thanks for that comment, mate, 'cause I entirely agree. So let's have a look. Maresca's not been great. Sanchez doesn't help. Nkunku's situation is horrible. The lack of consistency is damaging. New signings before they are in age. We do multi-club actions without the multi-clubs. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. And again, like, how much better can Sanchez get? He can't. Like, that for me is done. A lot of you who have watched me have known that 2 years ago, as soon as he came in, I said, no, he's not going to be good enough. I don't trust him. And I think this is the best we get from Sanchez. Like, there's not there isn't an incline here of how much better he can get. Like, this is it with Sanchez. And I just say, like, do our players need to wear high vises for him to see them? Like, the amount of times it's either going to someone else or it's getting kicked out of play. Are you going long? Are you going short? Like, what is it you're doing? You know, we are 2-0 down at home and you are wasting time rather than using the momentum of your players being further up the pitch, and you're slowing the game down. I don't know. In Nkunku, I agree. That situation is certainly horrible. And one of the biggest problems I had during our match against Ipswich, guys, was that you're bringing on a player who has lost all motivation to play for the team in a game where you're trying to overturn a bottom side team that is probably getting relegated. You know, like, that's my biggest issue. Instead of bringing on your captain for a few minutes just to inspire some fight on the pitch and inspire some motivation, you're bringing on Nkunku, someone who has got no interest in being here, and you're looking to him for goals. Like, you know, and obviously partly that's down to the club for making it clear to him that he's not part of the plans. But also, like, Nkunku should be doing more. Like, mate, I'm sure you want a good move. Like, I'm sure that you want to go somewhere where you can, you know, play and maybe be first pick. But you're not doing yourself a great job here with what you're doing, because at times he seems like lazy and he seems like he's given up. So, yeah, to me, Reece should have come on just for that last kind of remaining 10 minutes, even just to pick up the players. I just don't understand that. And then yet again, we're the problem about motivating the squad. We're the problem for making the players feel uneasy on the pitch when you're the one that's supposed to be inspiring motivation, mate. At one point, guys, I looked over at the touchline. I saw Maresca, and he's got this stance where he's just sat there and he just has that kind of look of despair in him that we've seen from our previous managers since the takeover. And it just doesn't look good. This. I'm not even going to expand on it. You said it. We clown the idea of Thomas Frank, but he could have gotten more out of this team than Maresca. Maybe. It's hard to create an atmosphere. Yeah, that's what I just brought up. We should have hired a Hansi Flick or Luis Enrique. Yes, Elliot, we should have. But, mate, we all knew that even though they were thrown in there, out there, the shortlist was already decided, and the manager that we would have gone for was already decided. So we've gone for an inexperienced manager to come and develop inexperienced players in a league that he's never managed in and a league that he has no experience in. Let's not even talk about the lack of experience in playing in Europe. Yeah, we're playing in the Conference League. Everyone, frankly, should be doing good with a squad like Chelsea's, but let's say Champions League, the utopian Champions League that we want. And then instead we have to watch them blow teams away in the Champions League midweek when we've got Liga Warsaw to look forward to tomorrow. Guys. But do you know what the biggest problem is? You won't even inspire a manager like that to come to Chelsea right now with how things are being operated at Chelsea. Like, which one of these managers is going to want to come at Chelsea with how things are, like, with how things are happening, with how decisions are being made, with how little freedom they have, or, you know, the fact that they can't bring in an experienced player and they have to work with these young players. Like, everyone still has a nice mix of leadership and young talent in these teams that these managers are now managing in. So, yeah, only decent talking Chelsea fan there is at the moment is Matt, to be honest. Big up to Matt. The pitch was dry and had a performance. He's talking a load of crap. Oh, no, I don't want to refresh. Sorry, I just clicked something by accident. With the fans at the stadium, support for the 90 minutes and after the game mode, and have your agenda outside the stadium, not in the stadium. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's a lot easier to say when you don't go to the games as an outsider looking in. I'm not saying that you, you know, you're wrong or whatever. Like, you've got a right to your opinion, but again, you're reacting to a live experience and you're not just going to sit there and be silent. Like, again, I'm not justifying the boos. I don't agree with booing players. I think a lot of that booing is directed further up, but obviously the players don't know that because they're the ones that are receiving it on the pitch and hearing about it. But you can absolutely express frustration with what you're seeing. And again, like Elliot just said, there is it's hard to get behind dull dire football when singing attack, attack, attack at a club like Chelsea, is that not concerning, mate? Like, when the fans are having to say that. Jordan Evans, we should hire Hansi Flick, Luis Enrique, or Inzaghi. We're never going to get a manager like that here under this ownership, mate. Never. I think Palmer is fed up. It won't be long until he is fed up. Full stop. Let me catch up. Yes, shout out to Alex representing us on TalkSport. He's always bang on as well, isn't he? It's so early in the morning as well on the breakfast show at 6 a.m. I can never be that energetic, but shout out to Alex. We do play with fear. Yeah, we do, mate. Right then, let me catch up with some of the comments further down. Appreciate everyone getting involved today, guys. It means I don't actually have to talk by myself for that long. Let's have a look. But it is like, again, it's hard because the manager should still be doing much, much better with the squad. I get that we need certain profiles in there, and I get that. Oh, sorry guys, I sneezed. I get that, he probably wishes he had better players or more experienced players and not this much inexperience that he's just trying to figure out. But I still think with the amount of talent we have, we still should be in a better position and actually have won against some of the teams that we have lost at, some of the teams that have come close to doing the double over us that would never have ever in the history of our club. And like some of the results that we have seen and some of the performances, they still should have been better, even with whatever else he's reminiscing of having at Chelsea. And that's the biggest thing, isn't it, guys? Like, that's just the biggest thing. I'm sure you're talking about, who are you talking about? Are you talking about Jackson here or somebody else? George played better than Jackson in the number 9 position, which is just sad. Yes, Maresca is at fault. For me, his issue has been utilisation of subs, and the cost is to lose crucial depth in January, so players got comfortable and stopped performing their best. Yeah, guys, and again, like, who is that down to? Like, we actually reduced our squad depth in January. Oh, because we thought we were so fine with whatever we've got. Like, we let half the Conference League squad go in January. Didn't actually replace anyone with immediate impact at the club. Like this is why I can't help but feel a little bit jealous about other clubs. Like Man City bringing in Marmoush, immediate impact. Like Aston Villa going out for Rashford, Asensio. What was that other striker that they bought? Marlon. Just whatever, like making decisions about the immediate remainder of the season, and then look at them go. Look at them go right now. Like, they are in a better position of finishing in the top 5 than us. City, you'd back them. You'd back Pep to find a way to secure Champions League football. How about us? We put ourselves in this position now because we didn't strengthen. We didn't even bring a single player that could upgrade and elevate us and help us. We instead reduced the bench. We reduced the squad size, and we've made things so much more difficult, because it'd be fine if you could trust your starting 11 to do a job every time, but we're having to make substitutions, and at least one sub is at times improving whatever's going on the pitch, and that just says it all. But you don't have game changers on the bench. You don't have players that you're itching to come on, really, like apart from like Reece James, whatever. But you get the point. Like, you're not itching at players to come on because you know that they can actually change the fortunes of the game, get you a late goal, get you an extra time winner, whatever. Like, you don't have that. And that's the difference. So we have only ourselves to blame if we miss out on Champions League football. And you might want me to replace the word "if" with "because we missed out on Champions League football." Because, again, it just seems pretty impossible at this rate. And a lot of people have come to terms with it. Maybe I'm still a little bit deluded in thinking that. But again, that's the falsely optimistic fan in me. However, we've got only ourselves to blame for missing out on Champions League football, because the other teams actually went and strengthened mid-season after having inconsistencies, being, out of form, whatever. But now you see, and you would absolutely say that they deserve it more than us, qualifying in the Champions League spot, because they were serious about grinding out results till the end. And then you were punished for it because Jackson got injured. Sorry, I'm out of focus. you were punished for it because Jackson got injured, Madueke got injured, Fofana, Lavia, etc. And this whole time, you decided that it's better for players to go out on loan because, you know, business above everything, business above immediate present day success. And that's just the story of our lives, isn't it, guys? It just has been future over present day success on the pitch. And that's like why we find ourselves in this position. So that's we are at our own fault. We've been our worst own enemies, and not the fans. We're not at fault for this, are we? Because things could have been done differently. So they have themselves to blame for us missing out on Champions League football, because we absolutely could have put ourselves in a better position, at least in the January window. That's why it gives me no faith that the upcoming windows are going to be any different, guys. Like, we already know, okay, we're going to get a Delap. Fine. But then what else? We're still going to be left with the same inexperience. We're still going to be left with the goalkeeper choices we have, and hopefully, Petrovic is back and he's going to be first and 9. But then you still have the inexperienced back line, and you have an injury-prone centre back in Wesley Fofana who you just don't know is going to be okay. And then your back line is consistently changing game in, game out. And then what? Like, what actually changes? We're going to become less attractive as well to players that we are dreaming about signing. And why would they come to play some Europa League or whatever it is we play if that's the case? Yes, Amir, we are favourites to win the Conference League, but guess what? It's not done until it's done. And this is my problem as well, guys. Like, someone obviously spoke about the fans earlier, but and that, you know, we should be doing more to support the team, but like, you have an opportunity to play with freedom, to play at 40, 50, 60% maybe when it's tougher in the Conference League, but still play enjoyable football. And that's not even really been the case. Like, Copenhagen, stretch back to those, like how difficult it was, or like just, again, how dire at times it was, how like much we changed from a first half to a second half. Like, this is the football that we should at least have been enjoying a little bit, and I personally really haven't. And you know, when we face like a good, like the best team in the final, obviously granted we get there, which we absolutely should, because I'm sorry, but that will send everyone into a whole different meltdown if we bottle the Conference League. But you know, it's tough because then you might have to play a Real Betis or a Fiorentina. I think probably back Real Betis to make the final over them. But, you know, they are a really good side playing some very good football. And you might worry. But is there a world that we bottle the Conference League in? No, there isn't. There isn't, guys. There isn't. We're not even going to go there. Sorry, guys. Someone's mowing their lawn again. I feel like this always happens on a Wednesday. I'm really sorry if you can hear that, but yeah. Let me put my mic a little bit closer so that you guys can hear me. But yeah, no, again, it is concerning because we're supposed to be enjoying our football, at least in the Conference League, and the fact that we've not enjoyed it, nor in the Prem, nor in the Conference League, has just been very concerning. Nina, very good, but Alex says it how it is, proper Chelsea. Aww. I do try, guys. I do try, but it's fine. Everyone's got their favourites. And obviously, Alex, yeah. Alex is number one. We would have got cooked in the Champions League if we had Champions League next season with this squad. We got the only Champions winner we've got in our squad is Reece James this season. Absolutely, guys. And again, you see the teams competing in the Champions League with the right mix of young talent and, you know, experience, and the way that their managers are bringing the best out of these players, like some of the most exciting players out there in the world right now. And they're playing with expression, with freedom. They've got the license to utilize their best skills, and they're having fun, and they're playing very well, and they're fighting. So yeah, those are all qualities that, I'm sorry, we just don't have. So we are all good for wishing for Champions League football, but this is the thing, I worry about getting there. Like, what do we actually do when we get there? Just hear the Champions League anthem and then peace out after the league phase? I'm not too sure. I've come to terms accepting we're going to finish 6th or 7th. Sigh. I don't actually know, guys. Let me know, though, guys. Where is it? I'm going to scroll down now to catch up with everyone. Where do you actually think Chelsea will finish this season? Is there anyone that even here still believes that top 5 is a possibility, or is it completely done, dusted, and you can tell me to wake up from my dreamland optimism, guys? It's not even like I believe it. It's just more like false hope. I don't even think we deserve it, quite frankly, with some of the other teams that we're currently competing for those spots with. But, I mean, we don't even really have the mentality, I think, to grind out the results in the remaining fixtures. So we're actually kind of in trouble, aren't we? Let's have a look. Big up, Legend Nina recovering from surgery from Saturday. I will be watching Chelsea closely, according to my trusted sources. Our coach is under pressure. Speedy recovery, mate. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you are well and recovering okay. Okay, then we've got 6th. The dream is over. Let's hope them accidentally playing the Europa League theme for Villa is a good omen. That was really funny. Imagine waiting and itching to hear the Champions League anthem at Villa Park again, and then you just hear the Europa League anthem. That's quite funny, isn't it? Made me crazy. We've got a manager who blames the weather, blames the weather, the pitch, the fans, the players, but not the owners, sporting directors, or himself and his boring rubbish tactics and crap recruitment. He is the yes man. Exactly, yes, he is a yes man, and that's exactly why he's got his job. Let's not forget, if you don't agree with the owners, see you later, mate. You're a goner. You are a goner. Pack your bags and go. We're not sitting down at a dinner for you to tell me which players you think should come through the door and which players actually will be good for the club and what we actually should be doing. Sorry. It's yes or nothing. 6th or 7th. 6th this year, I said bye to the Champions League. 6th, top 5 is over, and 6th or 7th for Chelsea. I've predicted that we'll finish 4th. Well, we've got a 4th. We've got a 4th, guys. That's a good sign. We've got 7th, another 4th in here. 6th. If we had won the last 2 games, we would have made it. Absolutely, guys. And again, like, how much more of a silver platter can it be for you? Like, the games that you just should have done and dusted are so difficult. Again, you don't deserve Champions League football if it's that way. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Ipswich. Like, of course, they're going to be happy with the football they played, but that's a game you should absolutely be winning. In no world should you be 2-0 down to Ipswich at home. It's as simple as that. You know, couldn't grind out a result against Brentford. Just impossible by the day. So what fills me with confidence against Fulham, against United, against Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle? Just the thought of that run, guys, makes me shiver. And do we even have it in us to do what we did last year at the end? Probably not. Chris says, I have no faith in Maresca winning the Conference League. He is not tactical enough and cannot handle big games. Oh my God. So Chris, you think there's a possibility we bottle that? That's gonna be crazy, guys. Sorry, I'm just wrapping my head around that. Oh my God. If it was down to you and you were in the boardroom, would you sack Maresca? Are you Maresca in or out? Well, I would firstly replace those that will make the decision for our next manager before sacking Maresca. Otherwise, it's futile. Otherwise, we'll have another Maresca 2.0, and then there's absolutely no point of sacking him in the first place, mate. So, that's that. I've just clocked. Is that the picture I posted on your profile picture? I think that's the one I posted from Ipswich on Sunday. Yeah. Well, if it is, glad you like the picture, mate. 7th, we've got another 7th here. Yep. My biggest issue is that we don't know our best starting 11. Yeah, true, mate. Absolutely true. And you know what? I look back to like the sweet patch, as I now call it, at the start of the season when we got some good results. Was that simply just down to players itching to prove themselves, play their football, be free, not yet adapted to Maresca's style of play, just be willing to get out there on the pitch and fight for a place? Because again, there wasn't really a cut-out starting 11 from the start. Like, Maresca chopped and changed, and we saw different lineups and players were being rewarded based on merit training based on performances, based on contributions, etc. But I just, yeah, it's alarming. Like, our back line, guys, has chopped and changed more than anything as well. Like, again, we had 3 right backs on the bench against Ipswich. Again, things are just overcomplicated for no absolute reason. So, what is our best starting 11 right now? Like, I mean, obviously the team, bar Trevor Chalobah starting at right back, was pretty as you'd expect, I'd say, against Ipswich. But this is a good question. JC asks, if Chelsea just happens to finish 4th, will there be contempt? Yes, mate, there will be, but there will be worry. There will be concerns, and, all eyes will be on the transfer window. How serious are you about, competing in the Champions League? How serious are you about making Chelsea a consistently competitive side in the Premier League again? Those are the questions that will be raised. Again, I think it would be absolutely miraculous to finish top 4, and I think, that just says it all about how uncompetitive and poor the top 4 race has been this season. Because how can you lose as many games as you have and finish top 4? How can you make as many mistakes as you have and finish top 4? How can you drop as many points as you have, finish top 4? You guys get, you get the gist, and make it in a Champions League spot. Like, that would just be incredible, both in a good way and a bad way. But then, what's next? Because that just doesn't mean that, okay, you've secured what the goals were at the start of the season. Although I would say, I personally was wishing and praying for at least a domestic cup this year. I think we absolutely could have gone and done that, but we couldn't, because, again, a lack of mentality. So lack of mentality, and also Maresca, because let's not forget, he had blame to take for that Newcastle game, and how much he rotated. But yeah, here are our fixtures, as Jordan has kindly reminded us. We've got Fulham away next. By all means, not an easy game. I think Fulham I thought they'd let off, the foot off their gas a little bit, but then they went out and surprised Liverpool. And you know what, Fulham, the way that they are always so hyped to play against us, because, again, they take this derby seriously. At the end of the day, we are West London rivals. But for Fulham to do the double over us, that would be, I don't know. And again, I actually don't trust us. And I thought we would beat Ipswich and then maybe go and draw to Fulham, but that's no longer acceptable. Like, it is win or nothing. Like, you cannot possibly lose that game. But it's away from home. Craven Cottage is quite hostile. It is quite, it can suffocate you a little bit, but I just don't know. I just don't know what to expect, guys. Like, none of these games here fill me with any confidence. Like, we didn't win against the lower opposition. At least before, in the past, we would say, oh yeah, well, at least we beat lower opposition. We don't beat top 6 sides, bar Tottenham, but at least we beat, the lower level opposition. Now it's not even that. Because how many teams had a good crack at us this year? Everton, Chelsea, well, again, that's where it all kind of went downhill, didn't it? And, Everton and their defence, they will make it so difficult. And if, I'm Everton right now, I know exactly how I'll set up against Chelsea. I'll just sit back up against the wall and just watch us suffer. So I don't know what to expect from there either. Maybe another goalless 0-0. Liverpool, I would love to say we could get a draw, but we won't. Newcastle, after watching them play, even against Man United, I mean, I know United are poor, but Newcastle and their winning streak at the moment is concerning. And again, we beat them at home, but that game even could have gone either way. They knocked us out of the cup. So again, they've got some self-esteem coming into games against Chelsea. I don't think we'll beat Newcastle. So for those of you who sold me a dream and said we could still make it top 5, how do we possibly with this run of games? Because I'm struggling to pick out 2 wins in these games, guys. Is that bizarre? I'm struggling to pick out 2 wins in these games. And then obviously you've got United, which just by the life of us, a game that, is always so difficult. Obviously famously remember the 4-3 at Stamford Bridge, one of the best games, but we went there, Old Trafford, and said, good time to play them. And even then, we walked away with just a point. We never seem to do that. Forest away from home. I'm not too sure. I complained about the draw against them earlier this season, but in hindsight, that was a pretty good point we took there, isn't it? So I'm struggling to pick out 2 wins there, guys. That's concerning. That is very concerning. Let's be real, our manager's prioritising the Conference Cup. If we win it, it looks great on his CV just in case he has to get sacked. And that just says it all about the manager he is, about the manager we appointed. If that's satisfactory, just winning a Conference League when it was literally just the bare minimum and almost like a given. Sorry if that sounds entitled, but let's be real, guys. Let's be realistic here. The disparity in the quality Chelsea has with some of the other teams, we should absolutely have been winning this, playing up 60%, whatever. So, yeah, maybe that looks good on his CV, but that just, I mean, and again, like, that will just reinforce that, we're ahead of schedule. Yeah, we are ahead of schedule, guys. We're in the Conference League. We're ahead of schedule. Next year, we can go challenge for top 4. That's something for next year. Forget about it now. But yeah, it's slightly concerning to see how little urgency there is at the moment to compete and to get back into it. Like Levi Colwell were mentioning that every game is like a final now. Well, I don't know what finals you've played in, mate, but it's pretty low final. So yeah, it's quite a lot of concerning kind of factors. Like, do you trust that these players have the mentality to grind out the results until the end of the year? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. No, I am sure. I don't think so. Yeah. Randy says the only fans supporting Maresca are those who refuse to admit that they're wrong for supporting him at the beginning. Yeah. Remember, guys, Ipswich just cost us 5 points, so we should have had 59 points. Thanks, Ipswich. Yeah, again, like, they took 4 points off us this season. Like, that's pretty good for them. Really, really good. So is that a club that deserves Champions League football over some of the others that are competing for the same spots? If we don't get the Champions League, both the owners and manager are to blame, but don't be deluded when not getting Champions League. Thanks, Stephen, for grounding us here. Even if we finish in a Champions League spot, can we really say we trust Maresca in that competition with his team lineups? There is one answer, and it's very short to that. No. It's simple as that. Oh dear, guys. Right then, before we wrap this up, let's have a look, see what else you guys are saying. I love how active everyone's been today, guys. I really, really appreciate everyone's contribution. It does make these lives more entertaining, and it's good to hear everyone's thoughts. At the end of the day, we're all united by one thing, but we do have different opinions, and that's great. But we are on 35 likes, guys. Can we get to 50? There's 74 of you. Can we get to 50 likes? Just literally 15 more, and I will leave you guys alone. I promise. I do. Yeah, we really dropped points of Fulham, Bournemouth and Ipswich. And again, all these are games that you look back and you just think, had you won, you're in a different position, because the amount of points we dropped, like, even we could have kindly said goodbye to that rough patch in December had we just got back to consistent winning ways in January. Yeah, we've struggled to register more than 3 wins on the bounce. 2 actually, even. Like, if I completely disregard the Conference League and solely look at the Premier League games, have we registered more than 3 wins on the bounce in a while? Because we haven't. Obviously, 2 draws now. The previous win came to Tottenham, previous defeat to Arsenal, win against Leicester, win against Southampton. Again, that's just 2 wins. And then we obviously lost to Villa before that, lost to Brighton twice, beat West Ham, lost City. I'm struggling to see where we've had 3 wins in a row. Can someone remind me when we last had 3 wins in a row in the league? Like, it's actually crazy. It would have definitely been before December, because obviously a draw to Palace before we lost to Ipswich and Fulham, and then obviously we'd drawn to Everton. I'm just scrolling back. We beat Brentford and we beat. Okay, I found it, guys. December. Brentford, Tottenham, and Southampton. And obviously Aston Villa before that, actually, as well. Oh, that was our 5, guys. Wow, crazy times. That was our 5-game winning streak against Leicester, Villa, Southampton, Tottenham, and Brentford. And that ended on the 15th of December. And since then, it's just been 2 measly little wins in a row against Leicester and Southampton. Yeah, it's just a bit crazy, really. Really poor. Really, really, really poor, guys. Really, really poor. But again, you don't trust decisions being made from up above. Yes, of course, we want Champions League football, but getting there is whole different gravy. Competing in there is just crazy. And I'd love to say that, we've seen that Chelsea doesn't need to do good in the league to, be good in the Champions League. That doesn't stand this time, guys, because the way that we're playing football, the players that we have, and the way they're being assembled is just certainly not good enough to compete. Yeah. Well, that's cheery, isn't it, guys? But thank you very much to everyone who joins me today and helps this live be a little bit more entertaining, hopefully, for you guys. Really, really appreciate everyone who watched, joined, and engaged in the stream. You will have a evening lunchtime stream. Yeah, I'm not with it. An evening stream, obviously Champions League tonight. Haha, must be nice for some. Champions League football tonight, so you will have the stream a little bit later than usual, but keep an eye on the page, guys, and yeah, hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Obviously, Conference League action tomorrow will bring you the content for that. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV, guys, and if you also would like to see a little bit more from myself and support my personal channel, it's Nina's Chelsea Corner, which will be linked in the description down below. If you could give me a subscribe, check out my socials. I'm on X, TikTok, Instagram, all of that jazz, if you'd like to follow. Then yeah, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much though to everyone. Take care of yourselves, guys. As always, we appreciate you massively. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you very, very soon.